The conclusion is your opportunity to really let loose with your ideas. But there is a necessary part. At the very start of your conclusion, I think it's still relevant to reframe the question. At this point, reframing probably isn't the perfect word for it. Maybe reviewing or reiterating the question. I wouldn't rewrite it exactly as you did in the introduction, but talk about the question again. Return to the question because you have made your point of departure, you've departed, you've proven it, and here's the time to come back to that question and refresh that in the reader's mind. The next part is again the thesis. The size of, or the proportion of your thesis within your conclusion is a bit bigger than it is within your introduction. Within your introduction, it's the most condensed, simmered version of your thesis. This is a broad, almost sweeping statement about life, literature, and our engagement with it all. Your thesis is then expanded and defined and then proven in slices throughout your argument paragraphs. So your thesis begins little, and then I would say your thesis actually begins broad, and then you slice it into provable pieces, and then you prove one piece, second piece, third piece, usually in a 5-paragraph essay, but maybe it takes more. Then you have your slices of your thesis being the most familiar to your audience. You then reintegrate those pieces into your proud, confident, assertive thesis statement in your conclusion. Here is a celebration of what you have proven throughout your essay. This is the part that you can say with confidence. This is the part that you can assert that you started with something that was so complex and profound, and then you took apart the necessary pieces of that. Then you have logically proven each of those pieces, and now you reconstruct that to show what an incredible idea that we can justify and see in the world, in literature, and in life. At this point, your audience should be quite excited about this idea, and they're definitely on your side. So now's the time to show off your thesis and bring your audience along with you. And here's the part that I think is usually undertaught with conclusions. You don't simply mirror what happens in the introduction. I think you've got 3 things that you could do with this remaining space. Here, I would connect as much as possible to the real world. I would connect it to the real world impact. Do your ideas impact the world? Does this text impact the world at all? Is this relevant to the world? Maybe this is a niche thing that only affects very few people. Maybe you're saying that is still important and we shouldn't be fully... maybe you're arguing against the kind of democratic value of literature. And the last thing you could say about it is the purpose of your text. Is it achieving its purpose? Is its purpose noble? Is its purpose highbrow that requires all of this interesting analysis to truly understand? Here is your unique opportunity to assert how it connects to the real world. Really? Didn't have the impact. So this will get a unique back. There is one last thing that I would like to say about the mesostructure of analytical writing. That the tone of each of these paragraphs will be a little bit different because they are serving different purposes. The tone of your introduction should be controlled. You want your audience to feel as if this is all clear. You want this to be more or less predictable in where it's going. And you're setting up the structure to then be followed throughout the rest of your essay because you are introducing your essay. The tone of your arguments and argument/body paragraphs should be logical because you are always connecting the text to its hidden meaning and to how the form of the text relates to that meaning. And you want your audience to feel that these argument body paragraphs are just undeniable. You want to be so consistent with your analysis and you want to be so comprehensive with your proof that they go, yeah, you're actually right, because you are trying to argue a point. And your conclusion is not just that controlled, clear tone. Your conclusion is assertive. Your conclusion is when you reap the rewards of everything you've proven throughout your essay. This should feel a little bit intense. This should be you talking about that cry for help that literature has, the absolute triumphs that exist within literature. It should feel intense and it should feel brilliant. We want this one to be controlled, we want this one to be logical, and we want this one to be the colourful flourish at the end of the essay. Your introduction begins broad, narrows down within your argument/body paragraphs, and then we return to broad, we return to the real world in the conclusions. Hope that's been helpful. Thanks for listening. Enjoy your day, everyone.